Amen. Amen. All right. So good evening, everyone. Unless you've been under a rock somewhere, but Bold Money Matters is new to the lay, but maybe familiar to the clergy. This is one of our sessions that we're offering this fall, but I'll let Bishop Thornton give the details. But if you all could just receive our leader, the Program Development Officer for the CME Church, Bishop Teresa Thornton.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here and for taking time out of your schedule to learn more about finance and how to be good stewards of whatever resources you have, and perhaps even enhance your resources, because our giving and our stewardship is indeed a part of our walk of faith. The church has to be supported financially, but more importantly, when our church is financially strong and we are financially strong, we're able to put our focus on doing missions and ministry, which is really what the church is all about. And so listen with your pocketbook ear, but also listen in terms of how this enhances your ability to be faithful to your own walk of faith, whether you're a minister, a clergy person, a pastor, or a lay person. Really doesn't matter in this space. We're all trying to achieve, I believe, some of the same goals, and that is to be the best that God created us to be. I especially am grateful for Mr. Clarence Lee, whom I was privileged to meet several months ago. I call it one of those God moments when someone in your pathway and you discover that they have a talent and a skill that you were looking for and praying for. We've been offering classes for clergy since the spring of 23. And certainly lay folks have said, well, what about us? And so this is it. This is our initial launch of including the lay members of the CME Church and other places, because we're not limiting it just to CMEs, but this is especially for our connection. But feel free in future weeks to invite others that you know this information may be helpful to you. I know we're competing with week 9 of NFL football. I talked to my son earlier, and he said he had 4 screens or a split screen with 4 different games at the same time. To me, that sounds like madness. I think this is a much more sane way to spend the Sunday evening. So thank you all again for being here.
Mr. Clarence?
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here, and I have tuned into my game. My Lions are doing pretty well, so it's all good. So anyway, I do appreciate that. I want to share with you, I'm going to tell you where I was so inspired when I got to ride in the car from the airport or to the airport with Pastor Snorton. And she told me what they were doing here, and I got excited. I said, wow, that's exactly what I was talking about. And I really want to share with you some things that are dear to me, and I think they will be so beneficial to your church, yourself, your church, and your community if we do it the right way. So that's what I want to start with. I won't take a lot of time, but I will tell you, I am my background is architecture and planning. I was a downtown riverfront planner for the city of Detroit for like 25 years ago. And what we did was that stuff you saw in the NFL draft and all that new stuff, that was stuff I worked on 20 years ago. And the way I got here, you'll see it in a video I did. A friend of mine from our church showed me how to save money and how to invest. I don't know about you. I was looking for ways that I could improve my financial condition, get wealthy at some point. And he answered a few simple questions that really made sense. I became a client right away. And then he said, you know, you can make extra income doing this part-time. And I said, what? I'm in. And that's how I got here. So what I want to talk about tonight, and pray for me, you know, I always get nervous when I speak. It's just a natural thing. God gets me through it. I prayed since I was a kid, you know, because that's how I got through. So bear with me. I want to share my screen, but I also want to make sure that the message that we're trying to relay to you here. We're going to talk about how money works. And please let me know if something's not working, okay? Please. We're going to learn how money works, and it's so important. But the first thing I want to start off with, I want to personally thank Bishop Teresa Storton and Bold Money Matters for what they're doing here, because I believe this will have such a dramatic impact on the whole CME Church, our communities, and each and every one of us individually if we do this right. So I really appreciated that. I want to just put that out there and make sure you know that's where my heart is. I want to have 4 segments during this. The first one, I changed the name because I want to catch you. My purpose tonight is actually to make sure, if you see me looking both ways, I got a screen over here that I'm looking at too, so bear with me there, is that I want to just make an impact. We're going to have four modules. The first one, I changed the name, is called Avoid Wealth Robbers. I'm going to show you how you actually are being robbed of your wealth and you don't even know it. So I want to help you there, okay? The next one is we're going to talk about debt stacking and the 3 accounts you need to be financially set. The rule of 72, I'm going to touch on that in the beginning, like tonight, but I really want to go in depth and show you how you can actually calculate interest rates by hand and avoid the middleman. I'm going to show you how to invest. And I want you comfortable investing, because what you're going to learn here is it's not that hard. It's a few simple principles that we're going to teach you that will help you understand it well enough that you're comfortable enough to invest. And the other one is the overall strategy and recap. That's sort of what we got outlined here. I'm going to go into wealth robbers here. This is one of my topics that I get passionate about, because what I realize is we are losing #intergenerational wealth because we don't know. And I'm going to show you how it's being done. Underscore the significance of the day's question. I want to ask you this. Are most people financially well off? And I believe it's safe to say no. Okay? There's a reason for that. Okay? And what this does is highlights the importance of how, if we don't understand things, it leads to cyclical financial ignorance that will hurt us long time. So I want to help you with that. So the first thing I'm going to talk about when we talk about, by the way, this book will be available to you for free. Everything I'm talking about today is free. We believe financial education should be free. And that's why I was so glad the bishop reached out, because I want to give it away, okay? And I think when you learn this, you'll understand what I mean. So what we do is we believe financial education is free. This is the booklet that you'll be able to download. It has several topics here, but I'm going to lean into one that is passionate for me. And when I really delved into it, it shocked me how much things have happened. So there are 2 things I want to talk to you today about. 2 things, 2 principles that if you get these 2 down, you will be pretty much okay. And that's what I want to talk to you about. So these 2 principles, the first thing I want to tell you, avoid wealth robbers. This is my little character I'm going to use that's going to help you see what I'm talking about. Don't let companies rob you of your wealth, because I want you to be able to fight for your money as hard as they fight to take it from you by educating yourself. All right? So this is it. Some of the experts have said, people think they need a lot of money to start getting wealthy or start putting away money. You don't. All you got to do is just get started. I start young people as little as $25 or $50 a month. I started out at $50 a month. That's what you start out at. So I want to show you the importance of just starting. The 2 principles that I want to talk about is something called income protection, and I'm going to add a new word to your vocabulary: income insurance. They call it life insurance, right? It's income insurance. I'm going to show you why that's important. What you'll be able to create with just this one step is an instant estate. You got money there that if something happens to you, your family's okay. The next one I want to teach you is the one called starting investments early. And I got a favorite page that'll illustrate what I mean by that. So the first step, income protection, income insurance, create an instant estate. That's the foundation of your financial plan. People just think of insurance, and I'm going to go into that in a minute. But let me show you this. I wanted you to see a brief, or show you how life works. The theory of decreasing responsibility says this, that when you're young, you have young children, you have high debt, you have house mortgage, loss of your money would be devastating. Okay? The second part of life is when your children are grown, you have lower debt, your mortgage is paid off, you got two pieces of your life, two parts of your life, and you're trying to handle both of them at the same time. Let me show you how we teach it. See, this dying too soon, you got to protect the income. Living too long, you got to have money. Now, I'm going to show you why my son-in-law called me on this. It's not dying or living too long. It's living too long without money. Okay? Living long is good. God bless you that way. Live long, but have money. So when I talk about dying too soon without an estate or living too long without money. So let's deal with these two things at the same time. I'm going to go through the first one first. Now, what is your greatest asset that you have for you and your family? You have your car. That's one of your assets. Do you insure it? You have your home. Do you insure that? Well, do you insure your income? That's your life. We show you why that's important. So I'm going to go into this. I want you to listen to this video. If you can't hear it, please let me know. I'm going to start this up.
Income protection. That phrase is interchangeable with life insurance, but to call it income protection is more accurate to why it's valuable. Sometimes when people think of life insurance, they think of money that can be used to pay for a funeral when someone dies, but it is far more than that. Imagine a couple who has 2 children. Their monthly budget is $8,000. Each spouse makes $4,000 each month. If one of those providers dies, the other spouse and their children are not just losing someone they love, they're losing an income. They now only have $4,000 per month to pay for an $8,000 budget. Now, in addition to grieving the death of someone they love, they're going to have to change their lifestyle in dramatic ways just to make things work financially. When the income stops because it's not protected and the bills keep coming, it leads to financial ruin. It's easy to make mistakes in this area. Most financial planners and insurance agents will first sell you on a life insurance called cash value life insurance or whole life insurance, which is a product that provides too little protection at too great a cost. And sometimes we think we're covered under a group policy at work, not realizing that plan only pays out if you're an active employee. So if you're out of work too long because you're sick or recovering from a surgery, you may not even be covered. Too many people learn this the hard way. Our priority is to make sure that families can pay their bills and focus on healing and not be overwhelmed by financial stress. That's income protection. We all need it, and it feels really good to help other people find it.
So I'm going to give you another example of what I mean. I'm doing real simple examples to give you how this all comes together. If you had a toaster, and on the 1st and the 15th of every month, $2,000 came out of it. First question I had, would you insure that toaster? Obviously, you probably would, right? That's income. You get it? When you do the same, there's no such thing as a marinara toaster like that. But your life is, your income that you make is. So we talk about insuring income. So this is an example. Now I say pay attention to the young lady, the little girl. The dad is there, they're making $3,500 a piece. They have bills of $7,000. They're paying the bills, they're living okay, they're having a great life. God forbid something happens and he's gone. What just happened to that family? They lost $3,500 in income, and guess what? They lost a lot of other things. They probably won't be able to stay in that house. But let's see what would happen if we did the proper income protection. In this case, the income that has to be replaced is that we got to putting them away properly, right? We got to pay off debt. And if you take $2,000 times 12 months for 10 years, that's $240,000. If that's invested, and let's say you got a 10% return, you would actually generate that same $2,000 a month, right? That's what it shows. Also, you would pay off the mortgage, and you would put $60,000 for the child's education. What that would amount to is a policy that's necessary of about $430,000. If you had that much in an estate, an insurance plan, an income protection, that family would be okay. You understand what I'm saying? Real life example. We do this all the time. So, knowing just how important income protection is, income insurance, to your financial future, wouldn't you agree that this decision has to be done right? So let me show you what's happening out there. In the industry, you got plan A and plan B. I want to go to two different types that's happening. Everybody tries to do this, but they get distracted because they're given the wrong information. They don't know the whole story. So in this plan, you're going to pay $295 a month. In the plan, you'll have $150,000 for John, $150,000 for Mary. Okay? And you also have a savings in there. It's called cash value. That would equal by age 65 of $124,000. So if God forbid something happened to John and Mary, the family, the beneficiaries, would get 150 plus 150, 300,000. Now I have to ask you this. I know I'm not participating with anyone, but my question is, what do you think the 124,000 goes? It goes back to the company. Isn't that something? If that were true, wouldn't you want to know about it? Okay, it does. They give you 300,000 and they keep the 124. So let me show you another program. Same amount of money, but you're going to get 400,000. Remember our example? We were close to 400,000 that we actually needed, right? So this covers the cost. So it's 400,000 on John, 400,000 on Mary. That's almost $500,000 more of insurance, and believe it or not, it costs a lot less. $126. What that leaves, by the way, when you take $295 from $126, that leaves $169 that you can put in an investment at 9%. I'm going to show you, we'll talk about an investment as we go along. But let's assume we got 9%. By the way, this plan has, for 35 years, it'll take them to age 65, and they have all the children on there too. They got 2 kids on there too. By the time they reach age 65, they got $500,000 in that investment for that particular plan. Now, you got to remember, the reason it's like that is that, one, the insurance is separated from the investment. They're 2 separate things. They don't know each other. You're doing them at the same time, but they don't know each other. So that's why. So what happens in plan A, remember, you paid the premium on this life insurance, and the thing is, they keep that money. I hope that doesn't make you feel good. In this plan, the family gets both. They would get $800,000 plus $500,000. That's almost $1.2 million that they would get. The family, because the parents passed away. This is the best part of this. What if you live past 65? This is your money. This is your retirement money. And if it's in a Roth IRA, it's tax-free. Now, I hope everybody pick plan B out of that. Because more money is good when it's the same thing, right? So anyway, I try to interchange with people, but that's what I'm getting at. People don't know that. But let me show you what the shocker is. When you look at this plan, do you know if we can show you a plan like that, don't you think other companies know about it too? Wouldn't you think so? So let me ask you, what do? Unless you ask for it, they're only going to show you plan A, Wealth Robbers. Now look how much this costs your family. That just cost your family $500,000 to almost $1.2 million. You remember I said you just put away $260 some, right? That's what it costs you by doing plan A as opposed to plan B. Now my question in all of this, and I hope this rings true, how many times in your lifetime can you afford to be robbed of your wealth? Hashtag intergenerational wealth. I hope that made sense. Okay? Let's go a little further. So what this means is, what we did in that plan, we created an instant estate of $800,000. If something happened to that family, they got $800,000, right? That's insurance. And we also started the investment all at the same time. So when they get to retirement, they got $500,000. You see how this all comes together? We worked on both of them at the same time. But everybody shows you plan A. If you think they didn't, 80% of the time, I'll show you that later too, okay? I want to show you another concept. This is the rule of 72. And the reason I like this is a way that you can actually longhand figure out how much money doubles over time. It's an actual formula that works. The industry uses it. And what it basically says is if you take the interest rate that you're going to earn, divide it into 72, it tells you how many years it takes your money to double. So 3 goes into 72 24 times. So if you had a one-time $10,000 investment, in 24 years you'd have $20,000. In another 24 years you'd have $40,000. Okay? You see how it works? Now let's say we double the interest rate and you got a 6% return. You think you double it, look at what happens though. 6 goes into 72, it's going to double every 12 years. So that 10,000 in 12 years will be 20, another 12, 40, 80, 160. Now this is what blew me away. I want you to look at this. If you got a 12% return on that money, and I'm going to just tell you this, people are getting it. We're not going to talk about that here, and I can't go any further. But if that were possible, look at what, and it's okay. You're not going to risk too much, all right? That 10,000 at 12% would double every 6 years. So that 10,000 in 6 years will be 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, 640, 1.2 million, $2.5 million for a one-time investment that you just put in and just let it ride at a higher interest rate. You see? Okay? I wanted you to see that. This makes me go to the next point. Hypothetically, and this is how people are sold. I want to just let you see what I mean. Hypothetically, this is called funny banking. If your bank sent you a letter that they wanted you to sign, and they said to you, for the balance for the next 2 to 3 years in your account that you put, no matter what you put in there, it would still be $0. That's one. Number 2, you could only earn 1 to 3%. You can't get any more than that. Now, this is the other part, and this gets me too. Your money's in there. The only way you can get your money is you have to borrow your money and pay them 5 to 8%. You caught what I said, funny banking, right? And the other thing is if you had an emergency, you have to give them 6 months notice because you can't get your money for 6 months. They could hold it that long, okay? And the last thing that got me is this. If you die, they're going to keep all the money. Your family doesn't get it. They don't want your family to fight about it. They're going to keep it. By the way, would you sign that letter? I hope you say no. So this is what I want to ask you. Would you knowingly save money in an account like that? If you had money in an account like that, would you want to know? And the other thing, if you had friends and family and money in an account like that, would you want them to know about it? I would say yes. The bad news, almost all the policies, 80% of those policies out there are just like this. But don't feel bad, because I'm going to show you how it's sold to you. And because I had one of these, all right? This is how it was sold to me. Let me give you this. You got 2 refrigerators. And you notice I use stories. These stories help explain things. You got 2 refrigerators. One refrigerator costs $2,000. The other one is $1,000. You got 36-year guarantees on them, both of them. Okay, that's good. But what happens with refrigerator A? They're going to give you $4,000 back at the end of 36 years. You say, whoa, that's pretty good, right? So this is what happens. Refrigerator A is more appealing now because you get money back, right? That's what people say. But let me show you. Plan B, if you have refrigerator B, let's see what you could do with the $1,000 that you saved. Check this out. That $1,000 invested at 12%, in 6 years would be $2,000, another 6 years, 4, another 6 years, 8. In 36 years, you'd have $64,000. Now you know why they give you $4,000 back? Let me show you why. Because they're gonna make $60,000. Catch what I'm saying here. This is what we're trying to teach people. Learn how to invest. So so that's a $60,000 profit that you could have or the company could have. We call that wealth robbing. Let me show you what that means. That's wealth robbing. $60,000 potential loss. So let's go really. I'm going to show you a couple things that they don't show you because I show the other side of the page. In this one, in a whole life, universal life, variable life, never buy insurance as an investment. Now, I can't be any straighter than that. I have to be blunt. because they're selling the crap out of this stuff and it's stealing us of our wealth. Okay? And this is what I mean. In whole life, you'll notice that when you get to age 100, you get the full 100,000. You beat the odds. You made 100 years. But when you want to get it a little earlier, like around 70, and you can still use it, so let's look at what could happen in a whole life plan at 70 and what could happen in a buy term and invest the difference plan. You see that? This money in here is actually the cash value in this policy. Here's the investment. So if you just, the same money, by the way, this is all the same money. They paid $123 a month. Here you pay $58 a month for $300,000 in insurance, which is 3 times more, and you got your own investment that you put $782 in. You do that at age 70. Let me show you what would happen. Instead of having $48,000, if you got a 9% return, you would have $183,000 just because you invested in a separate account. What is that? A wealth robbery. That just cost you $135,000. How many times in your lifetime can you let companies rob you of your hashtag generational wealth? That's my theme here. So I want to show you the next one. This is the hottest product on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, IUL, Index Universal Life. We got to go into this because they're selling it like mad. I heard there were billions of dollars of this sold last year. It's the hottest product out there, and they're selling it. But let me just ask you a few questions. When you go through this, I want you to hear something. One, the salesperson claims that you can save money in your life insurance policy while protecting your family. Sounds like you're investing in insurance. Ding, 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 ding. Bell should go off. So let me show you. Remember, never invest in a life insurance policy. And I'm going to ask you, you wouldn't invest in your homeowners or your auto insurance policy, would you? So why would you do it in your life? Just think about it. See, the problem is, and the two things are that you can't live and die. I'm not going to get biblical here, but you can't live and die at the same time. Just think about it, okay? They're two separate events, so they need to be treated separately. So that's how we teach that. The other thing they say is you can enjoy the tax benefits of saving inside your life policy. Well, my question is, why not invest instead in a Roth IRA? A Roth IRA, everything is tax-free when you retire. Everything. That's a benefit the government has given you. Roth IRAs, I teach to people all the time. These are just investment principles. The other thing, you can borrow your money from the bank. Infinite banking, be your own bank. So let me show you that. Why? My grandmother taught me this. I referred her on this. Why would you ever borrow money, your money, and pay the insurance company interest? Think about it. Would you ever do that? The second part is, how long does it take to get enough money to borrow? Thanks high commissions and fees. Because I remember those first few years, I think I just looked at one, it's like 5 years before it made any money. So you're going to borrow no money for 5 years? You can have the money yourself, take it out and put it back in that time, okay? Here's another one. You can use the growth of your cash value to fund the cost of your insurance. My question, which is what we teach, why not just get why not just get the proper amount of coverage at the low price as possible from the beginning? Okay? And I'm hitting this because I want to make sure you understand why. This is a wealth rob. Here's the other thing. These are the gimmicks. Vanishing premium, paid up insurance, 7702 retirement plan. By the way, that refers to a tax code or a section of the tax code that talks about insurance. It's not a retirement. Okay? Be your own bank. Okay? Infinite banking. I read about this stuff. I was shocked at how they were marketing it. But people just don't know. And that's what I want to emphasize. So it's not their fault. It's just they're not taught. That's all it is. And that's all I'm bringing to you. The reason is high commissions, borrow your own money. Okay? That's why it's a wealth rob. So I want to show you one more thing. What we teach is rent your wealth, instant estate, until you build your wealth. That's what we teach. Now to prove, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to see what the